everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I am filming a video based on my 2022 goals and making my vision board for this year. This was something that was requested, but it was definitely something I was going to film anyways. Last year I feel like I really sat down properly, planned out my goals, made a plan for each of my goals. I made a vision board and pretty much everything happened or like came true. And the things that didn't were things that might have been out of my control because of the pandemic or something like that, but for the most part everything happened. So I'm very excited this year to do the exact same process, and I said I'd share it with you this year. So with that being said and done, so with that, I'm here with my hot water bottle. I have some nice flavored water for myself. I also have a candle lighting, and my room was warm and I'm just a bit cozy. So when you're sitting down to do your goals and your vision board, just make sure that like your atmosphere is really nice, and make sure that you're doing it on an evening or a morning where you're in a good mood. If you want to get yourself a glass of wine or have a really nice smoothie if it's the morning or whatever, and just make sure that when you're doing it, you're in like a good headspace. So I have actually made out my goals for the year already. So how I do my goals for the year is I do them in different categories. Now you can do this as well. So mine are kind of based off of the Wheel of Life, if you've ever seen that. There's like different categories in it, and you can kind of plan out the different areas of your life through it. Mine, I don't have as many categories as the Wheel of Life. I've broken mine this year into 6 different categories. So I have my work goals, I have health and well-being goals, I have hobby goals, relationships goals, I also have my experiences, and I also have home goals as well. So I've, within each of those things, broken them down into 2 to 3. Some have a good few in them, some only have 2 or 3 kind of goals within them. I always find it super motivating to get a really nice diary at the start of the year, whatever that might be. Last year I used the Head Plan. It is amazing. I think it's about €35. You can get it customized if you want to, with your own name or like initial on it, and I did that last year. I actually have it here. This is it here. I honestly love it so much. I still will use it this year because I didn't use it all up last year, and because it's undated, you definitely can continue to use it. So if, like me, you're someone who likes to have a diary but doesn't use it on like a daily basis, then something like this is good because you could nearly end up getting like 2 years out of it, which is probably what will happen for me this year. And then it has like the Head Plan is really good. I'm not going to go into like all the details of it, but basically it has like monthly goals, weekly goals, and then your daily goals as well. So there's lots of different spaces where you can fit in loads of different bits and pieces. I definitely would recommend getting a really good diary. And this is just a really good one from an Irish company. So I try to stay away from kind of like very broad goals. So like your goal this year might be to be healthier. Okay, but well, what does that mean? How is that something that you can measure? How is that something you can put a plan against? So for me, I'll just share my health and well-being ones because that's probably something that I will be sharing here throughout the year anyways. So one of the things that I want to do is to lose weight. I specifically want to lose the 2 stone that I have put on since the pandemic started. The next one then is to get fitter, and by that I want to be able to comfortably climb the stairs and not be out of breath. The other one is to start skipping. So I want to work up to doing 1,000 skips every day. This is something I've seen a good few people on Instagram doing last year, and I think it's something that I would really enjoy. So those are just a few. There is other ones, but they're just a few. So while some of them are quite broad, like lose weight, get fitter, I have kind of a sub goal or like what that means beside it, like something I can actually aim towards, something that is measurable. Because if you don't have, if it's too broad, it's too hard to it's too hard to see if you've achieved the goal or not, really. So step 1 would be to make your goals and make sure that they're quite specific. The second step that I do is to put a plan behind each one of them. But say for example, if you wanted to save €12,000 this year, then that means that you need to be saving €1,000 each month. That's something that you can very easily measure. I'm just saying 12,000 because it's easy for me to divide and I am not good at maths. Step 3 then is check-ins. So I do 2 check-ins every year. So I'll do the first one in and around May time, and the second one then at the beginning of September or at the very end of August. So I do that because my brain still works as if I'm in school. So I'll have like my first semester, my summer, my second semester. I know that schools don't really work like that, but that's how my year like breaks up. And the reason I put in check-ins is because what I want now and what I want in August might be completely different. And there's a few things that I put on my vision board and in my goals last year that by the end of the year, I actually just didn't want them anymore. And it was just my, circumstances had changed and it was no longer a priority for me. It was no longer something that I wanted to do. So because of that goal came out and I substituted it with something else. So I do think it's good to have little check-ins throughout the year and not to just roll around to next New Year's and be like, oh, why did I put this down? I didn't even want this. So I do think it is quite good to have like check-ins. I also think it's good to keep yourself accountable in some situations. So like, for example, if you are saving the €12,000 and that's €1,000 a month that you're splitting it up by, then at the end of each month, just to put in like a little reminder on your phone to be like, check in on goals, check in on goals, check in on goals, that kind of a thing, to make sure that you are doing it. And if there's a reason why you didn't save the 1,000 this month, or you might have saved more this month or whatever, I know that €1,000 a month is a lot to save. I'm just doing it for maths purposes, but yeah, I think it's good to just have like little reminders in your phone. Just set them like as you're doing it now, and just go onto your phone, into your calendar, and make yourself a couple of reminders throughout the year. And that way you can hold yourself accountable. So for my goals, they're kind of like the 4 things that I do to set my goals, is to, I suppose, make my goals, put a plan in place, have a way of measuring them, and set up check-ins on my phone. I think it's important to, before you sit down to actually make your goals, is to look back at last year and look back at what you were happy with, what you were proud of, and then maybe some areas that you want to improve on, or some areas that you want to change this year. I'm a very reflective person, so I do this all the time. It's just part of who I am. But I'm a very reflective person, so I love to look back and see, like, where was I 12 months ago? Where was I 6 months ago? Where was I 3 months ago? And see the growth in that. And then also look to the future and say, where do I want to be in 12 months time? Where do I want to be in 6 months time? Where do I want to be in 3 months time? And just to kind of like envision that future life. I also think that when you're going to make your goals, you need to think about like what motivates you. Are you easily motivated? Like, if you set yourself a goal, is it just within you to just make sure you achieve it, or do you need some sort of an incentive? So for example, like if you wanted to save a certain amount of money, if you've hit your saving plan, if you're on track for 3 months, on track for 6 months, are you going to have a little like treat day for yourself? Are you going to buy yourself something, or are you going to do something to treat yourself? Is that going to be the incentive for you? Think about the kind of things that why, if you look back previously when you've set a goal for yourself and you have achieved it, why did you achieve it? Was it something that you like just really, really were passionate for? And also look back and see like what were the things that, like, you might have set yourself a goal last year. Why didn't it work? What happened? Maybe your goal was to lose weight and you had made a plan of like going to the gym and like doing all of these things, and then actually when it came to it, you gave up on the goal and it didn't happen. Why was that? Was it because the way you set up your plan just didn't suit you? So like, I know one of my friends at the moment, she figured out that she doesn't like working out in the evenings, she's too tired, so she started working out in the mornings. That's working way better for her, and she's way more motivated to do it that way. And I really do think that if you can figure out why you've previously failed, then you can take that into account when you are doing your current goals, to make sure that you don't fail at them, and to make sure if you understand what motivates you and you can plan your goals around it, and if you can incorporate that into the plan of how you're going to achieve your goal, I think you're setting yourself up for success. The next thing, and the most fun thing for me in terms of making goals, is the vision board. Oh my god, vision boards are my most favorite thing. I will put up a picture on the screen of my vision board from last year, just to show you it, because just to kind of show you what I was working with. So I saved this down to my phone and onto my laptop, or onto my desktop, so that every single time I picked up my phone, it's my screensaver, so that's what I see. And I was constantly reminded of it. And the same when every time I came onto my desktop, that's what I seen as well, was my vision board. And I think by having them there every single time I looked at my phone or the computer, that it was just constantly in my mind and always reminded me. And like there were certain things I was like, oh yeah, I really wanted to do more hiking this year. Geez, yeah, I should plan a hike this weekend actually, or I should plan to go for a hike this month. Because sometimes it is just the fact that like life gets busy and you just kind of forget. So making a vision board, I do this through Canva. Canva is like my best friend. I love Canva so much. I actually paid for the pro version of it. I use it the whole time for like my thumbnails, and I use it quite a lot in work as well. So it's very beneficial for me. You definitely don't need to get the pro version though. You can get the free version. It is still very, very good. It just kind of limits when you maybe have 3 options, you now have 1 option in that kind of way. But it is very good. So what I might do is I might pull you in a bit closer just to kind of show you how I do it. You can design it for a phone background or for your desktop background, whichever you prefer. I'll do it for both. And then what I'll do here is I'll just come over here to templates and I'll just search for ones that I really, really like. So if you put in like mood board, it will give you up like all these different kind of templates, and you can kind of just swap out your own like images then. So there's so many here that you can kind of look at, see, you know, what kind of vibe do you want for this year. Obviously my one last year was very, very like kind of a calm one. It was very like soft neutrals and stuff. This is kind of, I think I'm gonna go for like a brighter one this year. I kind of like this one. I'll obviously take the writing off of it, but I quite like the brightness of it. This was another one I was looking at, enjoy every moment. I quite like the like mountains, and there's like a woman here and like the stars and the moon. Like I quite like the vibe of this. There's also this one. It's quite simple, but I still quite like it. And I think that this one is probably the one I'm actually going to go for. I like this because it gives me like bright colors, but it's also kind of a bit hazy, and it's a bit more of a kind of like relaxed, gentle kind of a design. And then you can like move this, you can put in whatever you want to put your pictures on top of it. So that's probably the one I'm going to go with, but you can mess around and you can play with them and you can do whatever you want. I also really do like the background of this one because you are getting a bit of color in it, but it's still very relaxed. So once you kind of know what kind of a template you're going to go for, you can build on it from there. So the next thing I suggest doing is opening Pinterest. If you don't have a Pinterest account, it's completely free, so definitely set one up. So one of the things that I want to do this year is I want to go to Disneyland Paris. So I think I'm going to put this picture in it. I quite like this one. So if you just save it to a vision board, so you can create different boards in here. So I'm going to put in vision board 2022. Make it secret or not secret. I won't leave mine secret. And then you can just press create. The other thing that you can do is you can just copy image, and you can literally just come in here and you can paste it straight away if you want to. So it's really, really easy. So what I would suggest is like looking at each of your goals and trying to find a picture that represents each one of your goals, be them a big goal or a smaller goal, whichever. And then searching for whatever it is in Pinterest and then bringing that onto your vision board. So I'm going to do mine now and I'll show you what. So on my vision board this year, I have a good few different things. This is definitely a bit more busy and a lot less aesthetic really than last year's one. I still really like it, but it's definitely a lot busier, and I do think that this year is going to be a lot busier. Obviously last year we spent 5 months in lockdown, so I'm hoping this year will be a bit busier. But for 2022, just to talk you through some of like my goals and what I want. So you can see probably there in the top corner there's Disneyland. As I said, I really want to go to Disneyland this year, in Paris specifically, so that is a picture. So that's kind of one of the big things I want to do. Then I have a picture of an office. I really want to get this office sorted, and I want to get James's office sorted as well. So I wanted these rooms to be done by the end of this year. Hopefully they'll be done relatively soon, but it's definitely a big goal to get those 2 rooms done. The next one then is I have a picture of like a couple hiking, and that is for one because I definitely want to do more hiking, but also I want to spend more time with my bubs. But also I want to spend more time with James, because I feel like last year, like it's hard like going through a mortgage process, because you come home from work, like both me and James are working full time. Like we'd come home from work and we'd have to sit down and talk about life assurance and mortgage protection and what are we going to do here, how are we going to do that, and there was so much planning that there was very little time for us to just spend time as my god, I need to put my phone on silent, to spend time kind of like as a couple. So I definitely want to get back to that. The next thing is, wow, that's on us for YouTube, isn't it? The next thing, there's a picture of me. So yeah, there's a picture of me on it. This was the last time that I was like really body confident, and it was the last time I was like super happy with my body, and I was really happy at this weight, and it like that was a size 14. Like I'm a 14 there. It's not like I want to achieve anything crazy or anything. That was 2020. That was literally right before the pandemic. This was March 2020. I was on a cruise, and yeah, if I could get back to that weight, that would be my ideal. I think that kind of weight really suited me. And then there's a picture there of some food, and that is because I wanted to just try a lot more foods. I feel like in the last 3 or 4 years my palate has definitely changed, and I'm starting to like a lot more foods. I also want to just vary up my like foods that I eat on a regular basis as well. I want to have a much more varied like diet and stuff, so that's why that's in there. Specifically it has those little cherry tomatoes, because I used to absolutely hate tomatoes, and I learned to like them last year, so that's just a little reminder of you can learn to like things. The next big thing in the middle, it says balance, and I have that in the middle. I also have it a little bit like off center. It's not like perfectly in the middle, and that's just kind of like a little reminder that you can achieve balance even if it's not like perfect, or if it's not as you think it should be. And then I also have all the other photos kind of layered on top of it, because I kind of feel like if you achieve balance, like everything else will work on top of that then as well. I also have a picture of a bathroom. That's the other room we want to do this year. So we want to get this room, the bathroom, and James's room done. That's like our little plan for this year. So there's just a little picture of a bathroom in there that kind of looks very similar to what our bathroom looks like. So it's a sneak peek as to my inspo. Then underneath that there's a picture of Rossbeg Beach. It's a beach in Kerry, and my friend Neve lives in Kerry, and she's always putting up pictures of this beach. And this is her picture from her Instagram, by the way. I'll put her Instagram up on the screen. If you're not following her, definitely do. She has the most gorgeous pictures of Ireland, and she has a fabulous business as well. Anyways, I won't get into it, but that is one thing I want to do. I've been saying to Neve for years that I'm going to come down to Kerry and visit her, and I really want to go see Kerry as well, because it looks absolutely beautiful. I've obviously been to Kerry before, but not to Rossbeg Beach, and I just want to go. So that's on my vision board this year. Beside that then is a little picture of just like a very neutral looking home, which is definitely going to be my aesthetic. But that's just to represent us like doing up the house, and I suppose doing the home improvements and stuff. There's the last 2 pictures then. The first one there is somebody skipping. As I said, I really want to do skipping this year. And the last one then is a girl who's taken like a very obvious like Instagram photo, and that's kind of to represent me getting back into like Instagram and doing my fashion content and beauty content, and I suppose that whole like Erin edition side of my life. And then there's a couple of words throughout it. Some of them are from last year that I'm carrying forward. One of them is health, growth, home, love, and passion, and they're my 5 words for the year. So that is my vision board for this year. I hope that this wasn't too long, and I hope that you understand what I was trying to say. If you do a vision board, please send it to me. Please send me a screenshot through like Instagram or whatever. I am obsessed with seeing vision boards, so please send them through to me. I'd also love to know in the comments if you make vision boards and if you make goals, and if this video was in any way helpful, or if you like watching these kind of videos. If it is, it's definitely something I can do on a yearly basis, no problemo. But that is kind of it. I will leave it there. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you very, very soon in my next video. Bye guys.